Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I want to preface this video by saying this video and the ones that are either coming right after it or maybe even the couple that have come before it, I will be wearing the same thing. It is extremely cloudy. I was trying to wait for a sunny day, and apparently we're just never going to have sunny days ever again. It's going to be dark and cloudy and rainy every single day. That's how it feels for me in the wintertime. You didn't ask, but I'll tell you, I hate winter. I really struggle with winter. I really struggle, especially when it's the dark, cloudy days of winter. I could take the cold, but I can't take the no sun. That really gets to me. So I'm having a hard time. I was trying to wait for sunshine to film for you guys, and we're just not gonna have that. One of the things that I have been doing over the past couple months was habit tracking. It's one of the new things that I started in 2024 that I hope to carry on and plan to carry on in 2025 that has made a huge difference in my life as far as picking up old habits that I had kind of let fall by the wayside, and then adding new habits that I wanted to incorporate into my life. And they can be big and small or in between. It doesn't have to be these monumental things, but it really is a lot of these little things that you're stacking together, hopefully every day or somewhat regularly, where you can, you know, improve in these different areas. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal habits that I've been tracking the last couple months. I'm going to be doing my January habits with you, like filling that out. But before I do that, I did type up some notes about just kind of habit tracking in general for especially a beginner. Maybe you just kind of want to dip your toe in the water of reincorporating some habits that you used to be really good at, but you've let go. Or maybe you want to incorporate some habits that you've never done, but you know they're important. You want to make them kind of a part of your daily life. You don't really know where to start. So a couple things, and I would say, you know, don't get too overwhelmed by all the pretty, flashy, aesthetic habit trackers that you might see online. Really start small, basic. It doesn't have to cost anything. This is actually a free habit tracker that I've been using since October. It's free from SaturdayGift.com. And I liked that it was not overwhelming, because even though I think those pretty things are like fun to look at, the elaborate charts, the whole point of this is to make my life better and easier, not stress myself out by trying to make this thing that's like super aesthetic. So basically write in whatever habits you want, and then there's 31 boxes to fill in as you complete them. So this is the one I've been using since October. So start small. Don't overwhelm yourself, especially in the beginning, because if you are overwhelmed by it before you even start, or if you have like, you feel like this like dread or obligation, or like, oh, something else I have to do during the day, you're not going to do it at all. So start small, start simple. The next thing is to stack habits. For me, when I'm making my list, and you'll see when I do my one for January, I try to group together things that I might do at the same time of day. So for me, I will have probably read my Bible and make my bed at the top, because I usually do those things one after the other. So grouping them in that order helps me to, in my mind, visualize this habit tracker when I'm not even looking at it. And so I've gotten to the point now, after doing this for a few months, I can literally in my mind see those habits that I've had going for a couple months. I can see read my Bible, make my bed, those types of things. So I try to group those things in together. And then don't be afraid to put things on your habit tracker that you don't want to do. You know, we focus so much on what we want to add in as habits, but we also, and all of us have habits that we want to stop and not do. And so I feel like a habit tracker can work just as well in reverse, where you are, you know, marking off each day that you don't do something that you don't want to do. So maybe you want to quit smoking. Maybe you want to have, you know, how many days you don't go to Starbucks. Maybe you want to keep track of how many days you don't spend as much time on social media, like a certain amount of time, or at all. Habit trackers are not just for habits that you want to incorporate. They're also a really fun and effective way to keep track of and build momentum on habits that you want to break. So I definitely have one of those things on my list, and I won't be sharing that with you guys because it is personal. So I'll leave that part blank when I do my one for January, at least for on camera. But just know that I use these habit trackers to do things, to keep track of habits I'm trying to build, and to also keep track of habits that I'm trying to break. And then the last thing is, don't be afraid to scrap a habit that maybe you decide is not important anymore. Maybe you sat down at the beginning of the month and you made your habit tracker list, and at the beginning of the month you were like, I'm gonna do, you know, 50 sit-ups every single day. And while that's a good thing to probably incorporate into your life, maybe you decide a couple days, a couple weeks in, you're like, you know what, that's not really a priority for me. That's not really working out for me anymore. I really am not, that's not on my radar right now. So that's perfectly okay to scrap that, you know, mid-month, as long as you're not scrapping it just because it's difficult. You know yourself best. So are you scrapping it because it's really not a priority anymore, or are you scrapping it just because maybe you don't want to and you just don't want to put the time and effort into it? There's a difference. So I think it's definitely okay to do that. I've actually done that myself, but I did really have that kind of talk with myself about like, why was this important to me at the beginning of the month, and why a couple weeks in is it no longer important? But that's okay to do. Just make sure you're not doing it too often, and make sure you're being honest with yourself about your intentions behind scrapping that habit. I started this in October, and I kept them for my own personal records, not really planning to share them with you guys, but just briefly, October, I had, you know, not very many things. I had get up earlier, read the Bible, work out, make my bed, have oatmeal for breakfast, and less than 1 hour on Instagram. That was the only ones that I had on my list in October. And then of course I checked, you know, when I did, and I marked out when I didn't do those things. I did really well in some categories, and here it is, you know, 3 months later, and I'm still struggling with get up early. I did scrap the oatmeal for breakfast. That was one of the ones that I was just like, you know, why, every now and again it's okay, but like making myself do it every single day when I really just do not like oatmeal. I actually have a different breakfast that I prefer. But I guess I thought, oh, I should probably have something different, and maybe it'd be healthier, or I see everybody doing it online, maybe I should do it. And for those reasons, I put it on the list, and then realized about mid-month, I'm like, this is stupid. I mean, I eat breakfast, I'm a healthy person, I try to make good choices. I don't have to eat oatmeal for breakfast every day. And then mid-month, I added less than an hour on Instagram. Then on the, it looks like on the 20th of October, I decided to go ahead and add that to my habit tracker, not wait till November to start. Start in the middle of the month, that's okay. You know, that's why you have, in this tracker particularly, you have lots of spaces where you can add things that maybe do become a priority to you throughout the month. That was one that I added in October, and I have carried through now from November and December, and plan to carry on into December, because I just want to make sure I'm limiting the time that I'm on Instagram. Then November came, and the only thing I added, well, I added the one that's the habit that I'm trying to break, so that one's kind of personal. I kept the original habits and then listened to my audiobook. So I'm reading / listening to a couple different books. And so I put listen to book, where you'll see in December I changed it where it says listen or read books. So I will color that day in if I am listening to an audiobook and or reading something that day. Other than the Bible, that's its own category. So that's really nice. It gives me some flexibility there. Maybe I don't have time to sit down and read a book, but maybe I have time to listen to the audiobook while I'm getting ready. So I can still count that as a win for the day, because I fulfilled that category of listening or reading my audiobook. I forgot my December one downstairs, so let me go get it and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm out of breath because we just ate lunch. I'm full of Chipotle rice and beans. I had to go downstairs to get this. I still have my December habit tracker in my planner, because right now as I'm filming this, it's still December, but it's almost the end of the month. It is the 29th. So anyway, in December, I had, again, those same habits that I wanted to carry over. And you know, once something becomes a habit, you can probably take it off and not put it on every single month. But for some reason, I just like to, at least for now, keep them on there for at least a good couple months, make sure it's a really solid habit for me. And there's no harm in keeping it on there. It's fun, it's satisfying at the end of the day to look back and at least see, you know, these points I have been successful or not in over the course of the day. So get up earlier. I'll just be honest with you, that's not my strong suit. The stage of life that I'm in, you know, I have older kids. My oldest is almost 21. My youngest is almost 15. We do homeschool, but I'm just homeschooling the one now, and a lot of her work is independent. I'm just not at the stage of life where I need to get up terribly early. So that one's probably been the worst one for me consistently over the last couple months, but it's still on there. I'm still working towards it. So get up earlier. Read the Bible, that's still important. I'm doing really well with that. Making my bed, working out. I added vitamins, so that was something that was not previously on the list, and I added that. And I still have listen to my book / read, so either one of those will count as a win for the day. I did keep less than 45 minutes on Instagram. I lowered it, if you remember, it was an hour. I was doing so well with that. It was so easy for me at that time to spend less than an hour on Instagram that now I've lowered it to 45. The only bad thing about that is now that I'm gonna be making more YouTube videos, I will be back on Instagram a little bit more than I was the past couple months. So I don't know for January if I'm gonna put it back to an hour. I really don't wanna give myself too much leeway in there because I really try not to be on my phone. I really try hard not to be on Instagram very often because it can suck you in. So I'll think about that and we'll decide together when I actually sit down here in a minute to do the one for January. But one thing I did do though is I made it, even though I kept it I made it 45. I actually set a time limit on my phone. Like you can do that. You can go into app limits for different apps and set how long you want to be on them per day. I believe it's set on 35. So when that alarm goes off, I know that I've really got maybe 10 minutes till I get to 45, but really I probably should go ahead and like get out of that rabbit hole before it's too late, if that makes sense. But setting that app limit for me has really helped, and I'm a grown woman, nobody can stop me. I can spend all day on Instagram if I want to. This is just me parenting myself, which I have found so often as an adult that you have to do. You know, when you're younger, you think, I can't wait to be an adult, I could do whatever I want. And then you get older and you realize that's not really what's good for you. And sometimes you have to be your own parent. And I've done that a lot over the years. One of the main ways was keeping my phone out of my room at night, which was a big deal. And then now with the app limit, you know, that's something you might do to a kid, but I'm doing it to myself. Yes, I can override that app limit and just stay however long I want on Instagram or whatever. But in my mind, I realized that was an important thing for me enough where I'm gonna set that limit because I am trying to do what's best for myself. And sometimes we're the only people doing that. We're the only people watching out for ourselves. So I do have that app limit on there. And then again, I have that habit of what I'm trying to work on not doing. I had added do 40 glute bridges. That was something I thought I was gonna do in December. I was like, that's easy. I can just, cause I work out a lot, I can do glute bridges all day long, you know, but I did it one time in December and quickly was like, you know, I didn't really figure out where I was gonna put it in my day. Like there wasn't a time that I could think, well, when would I fit this in? Like I talked about earlier, the habit stacking theory of maybe trying to group things together. That's not always possible. But you know, there really wasn't that much time in the day where I would remember and think, oh, I gotta drop to the ground now and do, you know, 40 glute bridges. Like that just didn't happen. So I'm gonna put a different one on my list for January. It's not gonna be glute bridges because I find them extremely obnoxious and tedious. And this is like not even weighted glute bridges, just body weight. But still, I think they're so boring and I hate them. So I scrapped that habit. I didn't even keep track of it after like the middle of the month. So that was one of those examples of, you know, it's not like I'm not working out at all. This was just over and above what I do at the gym. So let's just let that one go. And I did. And then I added a 4 times a month goal. This is gonna sound really stupid, to exfoliate. And you're probably thinking, what is wrong with this woman that she has to write down to exfoliate? But I like to take showers like super fast. And when I get in the shower, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get, you know, you got to get the jar, and then I have the glove, and this is so stupid, but I don't do it often enough. So as silly as that might seem to somebody else, this is my habit tracker list. This is your habit tracker list. These are just things you want to do. It doesn't matter if they're big or small. It doesn't matter if they seem stupid or insignificant to somebody else. It's something that you want to do in your life, and you need that reminder. I'm pretty good at visualizing this list in my brain, and when the end of the day comes, I can almost remember like this in my head of like, I didn't get that check mark today, and I want that check mark. It doesn't matter. I'm not getting anything out of it other than just self-care and satisfaction. But sometimes I will like go ahead and do something that maybe I didn't think I was going to or hadn't planned to do because I'm like, oh man, I want to get that check mark for the day. And exfoliating happens to be one of those things. So that is my December habit tracker. So I'm going to sit down with you guys, plan out January. Like I said, it's the 29th here. So I've been thinking, and as the month has gone on, I've been thinking of what I wanted to add to January. Like I said earlier, if you come up with something that you want to add, and don't wait till the new month to add it, just go ahead and drop it in there. At the end of the month and at the end of the day, really, it's all about effort, intention, and just trying to make yourself better, trying to incorporate these things. And if you don't get it perfectly, which you probably won't, just keep trying. That's the whole point of these. And it's been a huge benefit to me, so I really enjoy it. I highly recommend you guys start habit tracking if you're not already. And if you haven't and you're maybe overwhelmed by it, like I said, start small, keep it simple, and I think it'll make a huge difference in your life. Okay, so I have my habit tracker for January. I usually just for fun pick a color that reminds me of the month. So blue, just snow, kind of reminds me of that. I know the angle of this is super weird because actually you guys are upside down. I'm having to film upside down over the table. So anyway, so some of the habits I want to keep that I am carrying on from previous months. So we're gonna put get up earlier still. We're gonna keep on working on that. And like I said, I'm not like worried about, like, we're not talking 6 a.m. That's not even that important to me, but just trying to not sleep too long in the morning. And I actually was thinking a fun video might be trying to, like, if I could write down my ideal day on paper and then trying to recreate that on camera. I thought that might be fun, like a time blocking kind of day. So you guys let me know if you want to see that. Reading the Bible is pretty much a pretty solid habit for me at this point, but I'm still gonna keep it on there just to hold myself accountable, and it's fun to get that check mark. Make my bed, again, that's a pretty good one. I usually am pretty good about that, but I'm still keeping that on there. Working out, again, that's one of my pretty good non-negotiables, but still, sometimes it falls by the wayside. Vitamins is staying on there. I am getting about to, I just wrote that completely wrong. My table is wiggling when I write, and so I messed it up, but I know it says vitamins. And then I'm gonna put, again, listen/read my book. That's been really nice to have either a book option and an audiobook option. That's been really nice. Still gonna stick with less than, I've done 45 minutes on Instagram. I'm still gonna put 45, I don't know what I wanna put. What should I do? Cause I felt like 45 is still doable, even if I'm posting about a video. So I'm gonna put 45 and we'll see how that goes. And then, what else did I wanna add? Oh, I wanted to set my alarm. I should have probably put this up there. I didn't take my own advice. Well, it's because I'm adding this. I forgot to put it up here. I should have probably put that up there because that will help me to get up earlier, or at least wake me up earlier. Now, will I get out of bed? I don't know, but I'm adding that. So I'm not gonna rewrite this on camera and make you guys wait, but I should probably, I've got an extra one here so I can rewrite that and put that one up there so that when I get up, I set my alarm again for the next day, read the Bible, make the bed, you know, that kind of stuff. It's not a huge deal. I just try to put it in order so that when I visualize it, like things are together, but it's not a huge deal. And let's see. Okay, so one I'm gonna add that I don't know if I'm gonna do, because we talked about the glute bridges, we talked about how that did not make it in priorities. So I was trying to decide, I like the idea of doing some little exercisey thing every day over and above a workout. And so I was like, well, maybe push-ups. I'm gonna add it. I'm just trying to decide if I wanna put a number. Cause like what, if I do them every day, what started out as maybe a hard number to accomplish might turn out to be easy. I was thinking like, do I put 20? Or do I just say push-ups every day? I'm just gonna put push-ups. And then we'll see, I'll figure out the number. Because I haven't done a push-up in so long, I can't even tell you what an easy or hard number is right now. So, whoops, I'm just gonna put push-ups and then we'll see. And then I have the one that's private that I'm not gonna do on here. And then I'm gonna put, so that'll go right here. And then I'm gonna add exfoliate again. So that'll be once a week. Obviously, it's not like I can't do it more, but I do have really sensitive leg skins. I don't wanna do it every day. But what I did last time for the ones that were once a week, I just put a dot every 7 days. And so then within that period of time, I did like, did I do one here? Did I do one here? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's gonna be exfoliate. And so that takes care of January, except for the one that I'm gonna write in off camera. But that's pretty much it. And so as you can see, I am running out of lines. If I add even one more after this, I will have to get a different habit tracker. I don't want this to become something that's just so cumbersome. To me, I don't get overwhelmed by this. because I'm going in with the expectation of, you know, some of these I'm already pretty good at. They're easy wins for the day. And maybe put some things on there that are easy for you, that you know aren't gonna be a huge challenge, just so you can kind of build that momentum, at least in the beginning. You know, maybe put something that you pretty much always do. Maybe walk the dog. Okay, that's maybe an easy check mark. You know, something like that, just so you can really get that sense of accomplishment. And then I think over time, you'll get that confidence to build and build and build until you have more and more. I hope you enjoyed this video, this style. I know the camera angles are a little weird right now, but I don't have one of those cameras that like can do a true overhead shot. So I actually have to film it upside down and then flip it when I edit it. So I realize it's not the best angle, the best lighting, but we do what we can around here, and that's all we can do, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to remember to link this habit tracker, but just in case I forget, it's SaturdayGift.com. It's free. Highly encourage you guys to start that, even if it's the middle of the month, even if it's the middle of the year. It's better than not starting at all. So highly encourage a habit tracker of some sort. I think it'll definitely change your life for the better. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure if you did, you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.